Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. It is your girl, Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is June the 15th, 2020, and today I want to talk about revival, worship, and spiritual gifts. Let's get into it, y'all. So, the definition of a revival is... I'm actually going to just give you guys the first two definitions because I think those are the ones that kind of go with what we're talking about here. So if you just Googled revival, you will find this. An improvement in the condition of strength of something. And then the second definition says an instance of something becoming popular, active, or important again. And now the next definition is the biblical definition. Is increased spiritual interest or renewal in the life of a church, congregation, or society with a local, national, or global effect. Revivals are seen as the restoration of the church itself to a vital and fervent relationship with God after a period of moral decline. Friends. How many of you all, I know that, again, I said it before, but I'm just going to say it again. Basically, I know that this time of Corona and everything that's been going on this year, the whole 2020, right? I know a lot of people look at it as a negative thing. A lot of people look at it like, oh, we've been in the house, and X, Y, and Z. I'm just gonna share with y'all what it's been for me because hopefully it encourages you. And yeah, let's just go from there. So basically, long story short, y'all, as I told y'all, last year was the way y'all looking at 2020 right now is the way last year was for me. So for me, 2020 hasn't been so negative. For me, it was forcing me to, reevaluate some things. It's forced me to, open my mind up to what God wanted to do with me right now, and the ways He wanted to do it. So yeah, for me, it's been a time of renewal and regrouping and, exercising my faith and everything like that. And so I guess I'm sorry, but I can't necessarily look at 2020 as if it was just this horrible thing thus far, cause it hasn't been that for me. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I know that I would say I feel more in position now that I probably have ever felt, in a while. And that's just me. That's just my personal testimony. Yes, this has a lot to do with it, the podcast. But even just being in the position of wanting to hear from God and wanting to be used by God, at the end of the day, I think that probably means more than anything I've probably ever done. It's like right above, it's right above marriage and right above, being a mother, for me. And then, the things I've done with my career and things like that. I mean, again, I hope that everything I do blesses people. I think it's great that people find joy in the things that I do. So that's great and a beautiful thing as well. But, I don't think any of those things are probably as important as being in a position and doing things like this to further God's word and everything like that. So with that being said, how much do we feel that we need revival in this world today? I think those definitions they truly hit home with where we are as a nation, where we are as the church. And yeah, we need to tap into some of these, tap into what the definitions are saying here. I mean, having an improvement of the condition of the strength of the church, or, perhaps making God popular. I think I talked about that, a few episodes back when I was, talking about going viral or something like that. Like, yeah, God, Jesus needs to go viral right now, become popular and active and important again. We see the evidence of reasons why all around us. If you don't know some reasons why Jesus needs to be, going popular right now, then, just watching the news, friends. Everybody needs Jesus and this mercy and this gift, that God has given us. So, yeah. So, speaking of that, let's get into, I guess, talking about this whole revival thing. Now, the interesting thing is when I was introduced to, the idea of a revival, it was at a young age. As I'd say to you all the time, my mother is an evangelist and things like that. And so, we will always be in the church and, in different churches as well. And so, yeah, there would be these times where we would go to revivals, and it would be this week-long church service where we would go every night and everything like that. And so, I would witness people, singing and dancing and praising and doing what's called shouting. And, so if you guys are down here in the South, you probably know what I'm talking about. I don't know if people do it around. I'm assuming they probably do, but, I know it's definitely a thing that's kind of popular down here in the South, this whole shouting thing, as well as speaking in tongues. And so, I would say that when I was introduced to these things, I don't think I was necessarily scared or afraid. I think for me, as I observed this as a child, and then as I started to grow up and as I continued to observe it and everything like that, I knew it was a serious thing. So for me, and I don't know what I did when I was little, so I can't sit here and be like, I never did, But, I know as I was older, I didn't necessarily play around with the whole idea of speaking in tongues and doing the shout dances and all that stuff. Like, I knew it was for whatever reason for me, I knew it was a serious thing. And so I didn't play around with it, for example. So with that being said, when I did have my spiritual encounters with those things, it was special and it was unique and it was interesting, to go through and look back on. So, I'll tell you guys about those experiences and everything like that. But first, let's go into, so I came across this, article here, and it's called, "What is Permissible in Church Worship?" This is on carm.org. And I guess I want to just kind of share this with you all, because I just want to let you all know that if you guys ever encounter any of this, like say if you go to a church and they're doing this or that, understand that different churches, they may worship in different ways. Some may worship with, music, and some may not, and everything like that. So, or if you're used to a certain way, understanding that other people may worship it in different ways. So, you can take a look at, if you want to hear like the Bible behind what I'm talking about here, take a look at carm.org. So it's carm.org. I know I tell you guys about this website all the time, but, check out their website, and the essay is called "What is Permissible in Church Worship?" And they break down each one and where it's representations of it in the Bible and everything like that. I'm just going to read the list of worship that they had on that page. So it says, here's the list: bowing down, clapping, clothing, dancing, lift up your hands, musical instruments, praise, prayer, rejoicing, shouting, silence, singing, speaking, and thanksgiving. All of those are permissible in church worship. Again, you guys can go deeper on your own to really, get an understanding of that and where it is biblically and everything like that. So yeah, if you're experiencing any of those things, then, don't be afraid, friends. Just allow God to just use you in that moment and let him show you whatever he's showing you in that moment. Just go ahead and just, embrace it. Cause all of those things are just, ways to worship God. Yeah. So I guess I could tell y'all a little bit about my testimony. So I pretty much have experienced just about all of those, I would say. Yeah, the only thing that I don't have really, I would probably say like musical instruments. I pick at the piano, not really, but you know what I'm saying? Like one finger here, one finger there. But, yeah, other than like really knowing how to play a musical instrument, I would say all the rest of those I have experienced in my worship. So the first time that I, shouted or did one of them dances, as people say, I think that was, oh goodness, I don't remember the name of the church, but it was after Florida. I had just came back to Georgia, and I was attending a church. I apologize that I didn't I didn't realize I was going to say the name, so I apologize. Yeah, but I would give them a shout out right now. But anyway, there was a praise service happening, and next thing, all I know is see, that's the thing. It's like, you remember, but you don't, cause it's like an out of body experience in a way. All I know is that we were singing and praising. Next thing I knew, I was running. And then the next thing I knew, I had grabbed somebody's hand. And after that, I think I had danced with them. And that was it. Like, and then I just continued to sing and praise and pray. That's all I remember, friends. Sorry I don't have any other details about that I could share with you all. But, I guess I just remember it still being a beautiful experience. And now, that was the first time. I would say I probably experienced a little bit more, since then. But, it has been like in my home. It has been in, the place that I was renting recently with our business. I had a little moment there. So yeah, it could be anywhere, friends, I guess. Well, cause you could pray and praise God anywhere, right? But yeah, so those are just like some of the first experiences with that I had. Now let's talk about this whole speaking in tongues thing, y'all. Let's talk about this speaking in tongues. Y'all probably have heard about it, those who are Christians. If you're not, you might still have heard about it. I'm not sure. I don't know. So what is speaking in tongues? Well, of course you can go to calm.org and get a really detailed description and everything of it. But I'm just going to go over the definition right now. And it is a New Testament phenomenon where a person speaks in a language that is unknown to him. This language is either the language of angels or other earthly languages. And that can be found in, now that's the definition, and then it's a little piece of one of the Bible verses. And so that Bible verse is 1 Corinthians 13:1. And then there's a really good description of it as well in 1 Corinthians 14. So here's my definition. Here's my testimony about speaking in tongues. How can I say? Okay, long story short, y'all. While I was in Florida, I started to build my relationship again with Christ down there, a little bit more so in my adult life. And throughout that process, I met a gentleman that we became friends, we became close, and he became somebody that I could, he became like one of the first people, or one of the first men that I felt comfortable talking about spiritual things with. And, some of that might have led to attraction because, you know, like I said, I was always on the hunt, always. Listen, go look at my story on YouTube, y'all. I ain't got time to tell y'all all about me and my singleness in those single days. So if you're single right now, let me just go ahead and lift my hands out to you right now, because I feel your pain, especially if you don't want to be single. I feel your pain, but I also encourage you all to just keep on keeping on in Jesus' name. Amen. Anyway, so side note. But, so as I was talking to him, he kind of was like expressing to me, or he kept asking me about tongues, and it kind of got annoying. I ain't gonna lie. It kind of got annoying because, again, I'm familiar with it, but I didn't really necessarily feel like, I don't know how I felt fully at that time, but I think I just kind of was like, okay, it's this thing that happens. It hasn't happened to me yet at that time or whatever. And I was just like, it's here or there, whatever. But he just was like so adamant about it. And I'm just like, oh, like, why you keep asking me about if I'm speaking in tongues? Like, and I guess the thing is, it's this debate. It's an ongoing debate about whether or not it's required. And everything like that. And if you look up calm.org, if you look up that article about what is speaking in tongues, they're gonna say they're gonna basically say like they're gonna kind of mention the whole idea of the debate that happens. They don't necessarily take a side on the debate, but they do use the Bible to back up what I guess like the final thought is about it or whatever like that. So basically, he shared with me, a video, but I couldn't necessarily remember the exact video. I don't know if I watched the whole series, but it was with Keith Moore Ministries. So I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but Keith Moore Ministries, which is a ministry out in Branson, Missouri, I think. I know if you look up Branson and Keith Moore Ministries, you'll get it. But anyway, I'm gonna share with you guys later. Well, I'll go ahead and share it now. So Keep More Ministries. So he shared with me a video. It was like, oh, you should check this out. You know, maybe this will help you with the, you know, speaking in tongues, X, Y, Z. So all I know is like one day I was in my apartment or whatever, and I'm listening to the videos, or video, because I can't remember if it was just one or more, but I don't know. So I was listening to it, and you know, I was open, you know, I was like, all right, Lord, you know, I'm open to this thing. Like, I'm not, you know, opposed to it or anything like that. I'm like, you know, if you want to give me this gift, and he over here talking to me about this gift all the time. So obviously you want to give me this gift, you know what I mean? Me and God have conversations like that. I don't know about y'all, but anyway. And so I just was like, if you want to give me this gift, go ahead and give it to me, you know? So all I know is throughout the message, as the gentleman was preaching, he kind of encouraged you to just open your mouth and go ahead and speak. And at that time, you know, it was like, all I know is I went from praising in English to then praising in another language. And then in that moment, it was like, I'm gonna tell you how it felt for me. In that moment, it was like probably like this fire within, as people would say. I felt like that within. I felt there was an accent, so that was another thing too. Now this is just me and mine, so I don't know what yours gonna be like. But, I was saying that there was like this accent, and I would say, okay, so, how could I say? I'm trying to make the long story short for y'all. Like I said, it's like I tried multiple times. It was like, how could I say it? Oh, Lord help me. Okay. So I'm listening to the gentleman, Keith Moore. I'm listening to Keith Moore, and he's like, just go ahead and just, you know, open up your mouth. Something's gonna want to come out, and, you know, or whatever, and just, I can't remember everything he said. This was so many years ago. But, basically saying something along the lines of like, you know, just keep on praising X, Y, and Z, pretty much. I don't know, y'all gotta listen to it for yourself. So anyway, like I said, all I know the transition was I was speaking in English. Oh, I think he did mention that. He's like, you're gonna want to talk like you normally talk, but
just keep, like, don't let that sway you. Just keep talking. So, again, all I know is I was speaking English, then next thing I know, boom, I was speaking something else. So, in that moment, like I said, I did feel like a fire within. I did feel like, I heard this other accent type of thing come out. And then at some point, I felt as if, and this is gonna be, whatever, I'm gonna tell y'all what happened. I felt as if God was sitting on my couch and I was just talking to him about whatever. Now, in some moments I felt like I knew what I was saying, and then in other moments I didn't necessarily have a feeling about like exactly what I was saying. But that was the first one. That was the first time. Now, I would say that, you know, every now and then, you know, as I pray or something like that, you know, if the Spirit moves me to say, or just speaking in this tongues or something like that, it just comes out, it just flows, as a natural thing, with my prayer and praise and everything like that. And again, it's happened, you know, like I said, at my home, it's happened, you know, at church, it's happened, different places, you know, or, you know, you might just find yourself praying and then, you know, I don't know, like I said, hey, this all may be deep for some of y'all. Y'all probably like, Lord, wait a minute, what is this girl talking about? Well, I'm just saying, like, I guess I'm sharing this with you all because I don't want you all to be afraid of these gifts, especially if you haven't experienced them before and you just hear people talk about it and stuff like that, or you just see it happening and you're like, what is happening? Like, this is crazy. Yeah, I guess I encourage you all to not be afraid of the gifts, and that's okay. And it's just a form of worship, and yeah. So let me get okay. So again, God gives us different gifts, friends. Let me see. Let me get, I'll give you guys those verses later. Let me show you guys, Mark 16 and 17. It says, Jesus said, and those signs shall follow them that believe in my name shall they cast, out devils. They shall speak with new tongues. They shall take up serpents, and if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. So, I mean, I know that in this day and age, you know, a lot of people's faith may not be there, you know, and so it may be weird to see certain things happen in this day and age. And some people, you know, kind of believe as if God don't do these type of signs these days. I can't say that's true. In my little humble experience and opinion, you know, I think all these things are still active right now the way they probably were in the Bible. So yeah, and then as for the whole speaking in tongues thing, I'm not telling y'all this so y'all can be like, oh, I'm not trying to put the pressure on y'all like my friend did back in the day. Cause it may or may not be, necessary in regards to salvation. But, I would say that speaking in tongues and all these things that I'm sharing with you all right now, it's a sign, as the word says. It is a sign, and it's also a wonderful gift. Cause there are sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, like sometimes in my heart, I don't know necessarily what to say in regards to what to pray. And the next thing I know, that, you know, when I'm speaking in tongues or when I'm praying in tongues, it's like it covers whatever I'm trying to say. And, so yeah, I mean, I think it's a beautiful gift. And so, friends, with that being said, if it's something that you desire, check this out. I had this other Bible verse. Okay, I'm gonna read it. It's a little long now. It's a little long. But here we go. 1 Corinthians 12, 28 through 31 says, and God hath set some in the church. Oh, we was talking about this yesterday or whatever that day was. Friday, Saturday. I don't know my days. But anyway, and God hath set some in the church. First, apostles, secondarily, prophets, and, thirdly, teachers. After that, miracles, then gifts of healing, helps, government's diversities of tongues. Are all apostles? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Are all the workers of miracles? Have all the gifts of healing? Do all speak in tongues? Do all interpret? But covet earnestly the best gifts, and yet show I unto you a more excellent way. And covet means to yearn, to possess, or have. I think it's a beautiful, like I said, I believe that these gifts are beautiful. And if it's something that you desire to have, if you are coveting these gifts, I'm a witness that God will give them to you. When you delight yourself in the Lord, He will give you the desires of your heart. So if you all are ready to go deeper in this area of your life, if you're ready to be part of this revival that's taking place right now, again, I would check out Keith Moore. If you want to, experience the one that I experienced, he has a whole series. Like when I looked it up, apparently it's a whole series. So I don't know if I watched all the videos or if it was just one of the videos. I don't even know, but it's called The Power of Tongues. Keep More Ministries. Check that out if you guys want to actually hear the one that I experienced back in the day. But then there's also another ministry. It's called Digital Disciple Ministries, and it's called How to Obey the Gospel. Check those out if you guys are ready to go deeper, as well as, let me give you guys some of these verses that I didn't read for y'all earlier. Check this out about the different gifts and stuff like that. 1 Corinthians 12 and 7. So 1 Corinthians 12, 7 through 11, and then 28 through 31, which I did read that to you all. Then also check out 1 Corinthians 13, 1 and 2, and then 13. And yes, I believe I gave you all the rest of them. So yeah. All right, friends, let's get into it. The Bible verse of today is 2 Thessalonians 3 and 3. It says, "But the Lord is faithful, who shall establish you and keep you from evil." Friends, I hope you guys enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. And go forth. Yes, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you for listening, and bye-bye.